Welcome to NAMM 2012, the Behringer booth. I'd like to introduce you to the X32. We've introduced this last year already. Now it's fully functionally short before production. So this is a real game changer in digital mixing consoles when it comes to compact, affordable consoles. What we discovered is that there's a huge gap in digital mixing consoles between what professionals expect from a digital mixing console and a touring console and what you actually get as a musician for a compact digital mixer. So now this is for the first time closing this gap. So what you see here, the user interface and the workflow is very much from what we learned from the big touring consoles and from our colleagues at Midas. So you see you have separate fader sections for inputs. We have 32 input channels plus 8 aux returns and effects returns. And we have a total of 16 mix buses. We have 6 matrices and main LLC, so in total 25 buses, 32 input channels. And by the separation of these sections, the operation is very, very intuitive and fast. So, for example, assigning channels to a virtual group, a DCA group, it's just like holding the DCA group depressed and then you select the channel that is supposed to be assigned and then it's done. And all of these features will not be possible if you share the same faders. If at all you have motorized faders and they are shared between the bus and the input signals, then you never can do this workflow. So that's why we decided to invest in some more motor faders and really make the operation as intuitive as possible. For each of the 32 input channels we have full processing with 2 dynamic sections, independent dynamic sections. This is the preamp configuration, gain, phantom power, phase, and a separate low cut. Then there's a 4-band EQ section. And in all these sections, there's also special. We have small view buttons overall, all over the console. So it's very easy when you're editing and you feel that the controls that you have in the channel strip are not sufficient. You just press the view button and whoops, you've got the right screen and you're not forced to navigate through any menus. You can, but obviously it's much faster just pressing a view button and see whatever you're interested in. So that's very neat. Also, all the channels have their own LCD display. You can define different icons, the names, the colors, just to make your overview as intuitive as possible. This is also very special, with a feature that you find in most of the big touring consoles, but it's unavailable to compact mixing consoles for musicians, for example. We also have a custom assignable section. Here you could use 12 controls, 4 rotaries and 8 buttons. 3 sets of them makes 36 controls in total. Can be assigned to any function on the console. Even send out MIDI commands for transport controls. You could use jump functions like a hotkey that brings up a specific screen. For example, if you're mixing a monitor and you need to detect a feedback somewhere, you have to be really fast in acting. And this can help you using the hotkey to bring up the appropriate EQ right away. And then, whoops, you switch back to where you were before in editing in the console and just mixing. We also got a scene automation with 100 scenes internally, and you can also store everything, even the head amps, so the preamps are completely configurable and storable. You can store that to the USB thumb drive, and the USB drive also allows to record a show, so it's very easy and convenient to tape what you're doing live, and you have separate means of addressing what this recorder is supposed to track. So that's very, very convenient. Loads of features, but still a very, very simple and easily understandable workflow. So for a live situation, that is the most important aspect for us. You, as a musician as well as a technician, you always have to be sure where's the signal going, where is it coming from. And this is, with this architecture, is very, very evident. We also will have an optional card. You see that slot on the rear, which allows a FireWire and USB connection, and all the 32 input channels can be put out on FireWire and 32 can be fed back. We'll also allow connectivity to emulating the Mackie UE protocol, so you can basically use this as a remote control for your DAW. Just switch the console to remote operation, and then these controls do not control the internal audio anymore, but just control the DAW. What's also special is the digital networking. We have the Midas Clark Technic AES50 protocol included here. So very, very low latency, high level audio networking, which allows on one Cat5 cable 48 channels of input and output. We've got 2 of those ports, so in total we've got like 166 channels to choose from and 168 outputs that you can direct the signals to. So it's a massively complex product, and I think we achieved to a good way in making this as intuitive as possible. Yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for the time sharing with me. Check it out. It'll be in the stores probably towards end of May, June. It's a great product, game changer for digital mix consoles. Thanks for your attention.